It says it's showtime, Alex, so I guess it's showtime. Is it?
Yeah, no, it is showtime, but you know what? We were talking behind the scene while we were setting this up, and we're talking Romanian. And when you started talking in English, it took me a second to realize what was happening. It was hard to switch. I think we need to do one of these in Romanian, Romanian only.
Yeah, that would be a cool one. But it's so funny because I didn't even realize that I switched to English. In my mind, it went it went so on. But yeah, we do it. That's the funny thing, I think. The funny thing, I think, is that we do share this at work too. Sometimes we speak Romanian, sometimes English, and with our colleagues too, because we do have a few Romanian colleagues. And those that do not speak Romanian, they always try to learn. And unfortunately, I mean, learn something, but unfortunately, the Romanian they learn not necessarily the most useful one. And
Oh, come on. Porta de is taking notes. So he has this in the notes app on his phone. He has a set of phrases he's been learning. It doesn't have that the first thing he ever learned was Doamne ajută, which means God help us all. It could only go down from there.
but
Max, the first thing he learned, nu parcați, which means don't park here. I feel like we need to make a since we keep going back to Romania for these work weeks, we need to make a actually useful set of Romanian phrases you could use.
yeah, well, yeah, that would be nice. It's again we're starting something live, and 5 minutes in, or 1 minute 48 seconds in, I already have something on my plate to work for the next thing. Yeah, this is, I mean, I was telling Alex earlier that I wanted to have this stats or first season wrap up more organically, not to send a lot of info, and this is a very good wrap up for season one. You probably learned that here in Interledger Foundation, whenever you try to propose something or you start something, you kind of have to do it after. Have to is a strong word, but you kind of get more work while
You
talking
are
with people.
supported, Joanna. You are supported and encouraged to act on your proactivity.
Yes, so proactivity, if you think it's a good thing, think twice. Might not be a good thing. Think twice. No, jokes
I
aside, but yeah.
I personally appreciate your proactiveness, Joanna. You are one of the more proactive members of the team, and that I really appreciate you.
And yeah, thank you, thank you. And it's a good point to start this wrap up because this is how Off the Ledger came out. We were invited to an external podcast. I think it took way more the time needed to, talk about Alex's background, my background, what we do at Interledger. And I realized that, wait, there were so many things still to be mentioned or to be explained. Why? Well, of course, the time passed. I was like, why not give them, a stage for them? And I was like, let's start some discussion, informal, because we are a small team in the end, and we cannot have a video tech podcast very very formal. For those listening, we do have such podcast from the programs teams. Is well curated, nice stories, goes out once a month an episode, but that's a dedicated project. This was a side thing that we wanted to share more from the technical side, and we literally started after we met for a conference, and we decided, okay, next week we do a prologue episode like true geeks. So started with episode 0, just to confuse everyone else afterwards, because like, no, it's the second episode, but it's episode 1 in title, and everyone was like, developers,
Joanna,
engineers.
I appreciate how you went with the official story of how this podcast started.
What's
We
the
needed
other
a
for?
stage or whatever. No, the real thing was after we hopped off the initial podcast, the one that started this all. Um,
Hmm.
Joanna said Alex hadn't spoken in a while. Hadn't spoken in a while, so we needed to make something up so Alex could speak more often.
I
And
found
that's
that you
how Off
still
the Ledger
wanted to
was born.
talk a lot. Yeah. uh Again, for the Romanian audience, Alex was never bit. Literally was eager to share more of his story or Interledger story, and I was like, let's do it. Let's create a this informal panel, call it, in which we discuss. And I think that was episode 0, just to explain that we want to do this probably monthly. I think it's on me to admit that I had how to say absurd expectation that I will be able to do it weekly in October for Hacktoberfest. But we had a summit, we had conferences in US, lots of work and lots of travel, and then is when we decided, yeah, it's fun. It is fun, but it does take a bit of time to make it. So we decided to make it once a month. How you felt
Honestly,
about that?
this is one of the things where Joanna had an idea and then Joanna had to go implement and execute on her idea. It's a very good
Yeah,
beginning. It's the I feel like it's the leitmotif of Joanna's job. Joanna comes up with ideas and then Joanna has to implement them. Joanna has to implement them.
yeah, and it
Honestly,
did. Go.
I felt I felt like even monthly would be ambitious, and that's because um it kind of relied heavily on me being here, and I didn't think I would be able to have time for doing these monthly. I am happy to report I've been here every time that we did one of these, even if sometimes I was in a cab because I mistimed my bubble tea run. And
I
I think there's one in there where you could hear me apologizing profusely for doing a boba tea run before this one. But it felt really good. It felt really good to be able to showcase everything we do here at Inteledger. And here's the thing, it's just season one and we've barely scratched the surface. There's a bunch of season two is already we know what we're gonna do in season two. It's already planned out. So it makes me super happy that we got to share what everybody is working on here at Inteledger with our community and with our audience.
Yeah, it's fair to say that we did discuss about this, that we are starting with two hosts, especially because we were expecting not to be able to be both in the same time. Um, we did try to settle on the recurrency of Tuesday or Thursdays. I think Wednesday just worked well, and I think the last three episodes we did them on a Wednesday. Exactly because of this, we did want to or did move it along your calendar to be sure that you can attend. And I think the most interesting stat of the season one is that you did not record two episodes from the same spot slash maybe even country. I don't think you
It was I
had.
was I don't think I was in the same country. I was in the same country for any of the episode. We actually have a question, Joanna, and I want to take the time to take the question because it's a very interesting one. So somebody on YouTube,
Yeah,
Fahid, asked us, how did the name of the ledger come to be? Well, that's a hmm. We were trying to do something. So we believe in transparency here at
yeah,
Inteledger. If you've been in our community calls, we share a lot about what we do. But when we go to some of these things, we have to be very careful about what we share and in what context and in what situation. And so even the community call, when you see an update from the tech team, when Timea or Max or anyone else does that update, they kind of prepare for it. We care a lot about sharing what we do with our community. We care about sharing what we do at the summit, but those require a kind of a lot of work, a lot of preparation. Want to make sure everybody gets the right information. And so we thought this was going to be a little bit more raw, and we were also going to be able to share some of the details that never make it to those
yeah.
presentations. Some of the what do we do here? And so the idea was off the record, Interledger off the record. But because we are a ledger company, we cannot connect accounting ledgers, and technically everything we do gets stored in a ledger. We thought off the record, off the ledger made sense for Interledger.
Yeah, it was just literally a play. I did search back then. It seems that it is used, but very local or regional. It was not a name trending internationally, so we didn't get the confusion there, or at least not that big. Probably some people, if they search, will find the other one, but you um, you intentionally can find this too if you put Interledger Foundation. And as Alex says, in this sector, especially in tech, in fintech, most of the time you're very serious, you're very clear. But we wanted to give it a space where people are not intimidated to attend, because we invited the whole engineer team. I mean, a part of it, but we will have almost everyone in the engineer team soon to discuss more. Yes, we're gonna have a season two. We are not, you're not getting rid of us, but we wanted to give them the stage that they can, do bloppers like me. You see, I use maybe wrong words sometimes. I go back and correct myself, just to be sure that this stage is not as formal and people understand this is a friendly discussion, or like colleague discussion between colleagues. And they should not, feel like we are tight and all. They can say how it's going. And if you go to some episodes, you would see that half of the episodes is like background stories of how things were implemented, who came with the idea, why we chose an architecture over something else, or even with the cards. 2 months in and we had cards. We did an episode. It was also the longest episode we had before Christmas, because literally people were so eager to share or to, celebrate these moments that we had the cards. I also, got gifts during the those with testing transactions. Thank you, everyone. I did enjoy good coffee. So everything was more informal, so it felt literally so good. And because you really said it, pun intended, we also try to keep that a bit in the titles of the episode. Not every time we found it. I think one of my favorites is that the tech writing episode with our engineers from the tech team, writing team. It's literally called On the Right Track, but pun intended, because in English, right writing, and the right, the left, right track. It's really so similar in sounds that we literally play on that. It's truly one of my favorite titles for that.
I feel like this permeates into our culture or from our culture. Internally, we play hard and we work hard.
Yeah.
So if you happen to work for Inteledger, if you happen to be in one of our community calls, the monetization community call, the Rafiki community call, or the open payments community call, you'll see this level of interaction and playfulness happening internally just naturally. And that's because we really care about each other and we've worked together for a while. We have a good relationship forming. So everybody feels comfortable to just be themselves. I don't know. I used to work in other places where everybody got on camera and acted a very different way and very guarded. We don't really do this around here. We show ourselves a little bit more. So being able to share some of that with the rest of our community, which doesn't happen all the time at the summit, which doesn't happen all the time in the Inteledger community call, felt really good and people kind of appreciated that. The puns are gonna keep rolling. I feel like this time we're gonna try to do pun a punny name every time. Some of the streams is like the writing track. I think we
Mhm.
had a poll running and we
Yes.
brainstormed ideas of what to name it with everybody involved and we ended up voting and that's how off the right track happened. Speaking of off the right track and funny names, Joanna, I know we're not supposed to have favorites, and I know we're not supposed to pick favorites. Which one was your favorite episode?
I don't have favorites. No, I, jokes aside, I truly
You're
don't,
not allowed to say
because
the community. You're not allowed to say the
no,
community one or the
the
webization one
web,
because those are your teams. Those are your teams, and you're not allowed to say that.
no, I think honestly by far was the Interledger card, because it went literally off the record, off the agenda. I mean, it's also a good moment to realize that I do drive this project. I create agenda. I try to put things there. And most of the times, Alex comes as like, "Where is the agenda? Can you send me again the link? It's in the same document, Alex. Spoiler alert: is the same document, has entries. Also, we follow the
So,
same
so,
structure. But it's also a good
so we
moment to
have
mention
to
that.
be realistic.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Even when you send the agenda in advance, did it ever help?
No, that was I was building up to, yeah, because I try to prepare. So I make this agenda, but others do check it, because again they want to feel more comfortable coming to a discussion that they know what we are talking about. But then Alex all of the sudden changes the topic, and this happened in the first official episode when we had Sabina, our colleague. the engineer manager mostly for, Rafiki, and I mean, probably the first engineer manager here at Interledger Foundation. She's now in maternity leave. If you're watching us, hey, we do miss you. And but do enjoy.
We hope Ping and Pong are doing well.
Yes, but do enjoy Ping and Pong. She has twins, so. And also we were baptizing them with these names. Officially, they do have normal names, but they will be forever in our souls, Ping and Pong. Um, and I was like, let's first, because Sabine is the, around here, around older. She was also part of Coil Tech. Let's talk about this, the whole Interledger universe. She wrote a really nice article tackling all components on the tech, what we use for. And midway, I guess Alex got bored and was like, oh, let's talk about Rafiki. And both me and Sabine was like, this is another episode. Rafiki was scheduled next. I was like, yeah, and this is the attention span of Alex in the of the ledger.
I'm sorry, Joanna, you were saying something?
No, no, exactly. No, also, yes, Alex goes totally off the record of the ledger, of the agenda, of everything. Like it's like, what do we have in an agenda? Um, yeah, I don't think he knows we have also thumbnails that it's a specific the design that we build all the time. What are the
I
components
do
of the
know that. I do
thumbnails?
know that.
What are the
I do know
components?
about the thumbnails. Joanna, details. That's why there's so many people. That's so many people here at Inteledger. So when I started, I used to obsess about every single little detail, and then I realized there's so many things happening. It is impossible to stress
Yeah,
about the details, and so I think so. When I started, I was supposed to be the technical leader here, the one, the only, the developer. We were four people. We're four people: Chris, Brianna, Erica, and I. And that somehow changed and morphed into we're gonna have a tech team. And after about 12 people joined the tech team, I realized we were gonna grow a lot bigger than that, and it was gonna be impossible to stress over every detail. And also, I wasn't doing anyone any benefit by obsessing about every detail. And my role morphed into more vision and strategy. And then everybody else gets to worry about little details. So Joanna, I knew what the vision was. I knew the vision was we were gonna supposed to talk about Rafiki. I just was confused about the timeline, or I chose to disregard the timeline because it was a better story. I think that the episode with Sabine was one of the ones where everybody kind of chimed in,
yeah,
everybody interacted with us, and there were a lot of interesting things.
yeah,
While we do miss Sabine, I am looking forward for seeing her again on one of these streams or one of these
yeah,
streams to hear all about coming back and how it's very interesting. We need to do one of these because she left around November, December last year, and she's gonna come back around the same timeline. And I would love to hear about before and after what's
yeah,
happened in a year with a fresh perspective. It's
yeah,
good to know that Sabine hasn't even come back yet or joined us, and we already have things for her to do. She is a very
yeah.
appreciated member of our team.
That's true. That's true. But that's a good point. I think 1 year in Interledger, we'll do it with Sabine when she's back, just for her to say like, "Whoa, what happened here? Good or bad?" I expect both sides to be, present. Is like, but going back when you asked me, that's why, because all these little things happened, you know, agenda goes off board or we discuss. I think the episode with the Interledger cards, especially, we were very joyful. I tried to close that recording at least 3 times, to wrap it up. Like, yeah, let's do the demo. Oh, no, the demo didn't work, and after more jokes, more stories, and I was like, oh, that was so cool. Glad that we made that demo, and more jokes, and I was like, yeah, this is not gonna end. And most of the time we try to do these panels like around an hour, so max around an hour, and I think that was like 1 hour and 30 something, and I literally had to say like, okay, fine, we are done for today, people. And then it's also when he started the idea for this one, because people wanted a new episode in December. They wanted like a wrap up for the first year, or the first episodes, a more chilling format, not so tacky. And then is when I did promise we'll try one. We were not able in December, but we are making it now, and the wrap up is here. Do you
Do you
have a
remember when we
favorite?
started this, Joanna? I do have a favorite, but do you remember when we started this, how long we said an episode was gonna be? Because I do remember. We
And it
said an
is.
episode was going to be 20, 30 minutes, tops, maximum. I don't think a single episode has been 20, 30 minutes.
No.
I think the shortest one has probably been 45 minutes, and
Yeah,
that's because
yeah, yeah.
people had to leave for some other things. I've learned my lesson after the cards episode. I missed the meetings because of the episode, but I've learned my
Yes.
lesson now. The hour after our slot for going live is always empty because
Yeah,
we never stick to this the time, and that's good because people people don't go, people just keep coming, and people have
yeah,
a lot of things to share. It's very hard to combine or compress the work you've been working on for the past, I know, year into
and
a
also,
40-minute conversation. There's a lot of things that happen under the hood, and there's a lot of hard work that goes into it, and it's kind
yeah.
of hard to show and tell everything in 20, 30 minutes. And that's why there's a season two.
Yes, with this aspect in mind, like it took us because we do work all remotely, so even now that we are starting to talk, we learn more ourselves, the employees here. The stories that I found out from the coil move and the first employees here in the foundation, for me they were new stuff. So of course I was eager to learn more. I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna close this in 30 minutes. It's not. Also, again, I still 7 episodes in, officially eight. You still have a lot of stories, Alex. I'll blame you. We continue this. Lots of things to come for sure. So yeah, tell us what's your episode favorite
My
episode.
favorite episode. Well, so it's very hard to pick one, so I'm gonna try to pick just one. I think my favorite one was the Inteledger universe, and that's because that's the one where I kind of derailed in a different direction, and it's we still landed where we need to go. We still got there.
Yeah,
I think while I was derailing everyone, you and Sabine was messaging me on Slack going, what is happening, what are you doing?
Alex,
But you
focus,
just rolled with
focus.
it. I think at a certain point I tried to fall it back, but I could honestly say that's the one where I worked the most because I was trying to figure out how to bring the conversation back into the agenda we had, because I felt bad about derailing the conversation. I forgot we were supposed to do this for the outside world, and I was just having a conversation with two
Yeah,
people I like and that we work all the time. And sometimes our calls kind of go away from us,
yeah,
because when you're fully remote, that's how you build relationships and
yeah,
rapport. And I kind of was like, oh no, this isn't one of the calls I usually have with Joanna and Sabine. This is a thing where we have a plan and we need to kind of get back to it. So that's my favorite, because for a second there, I kind of forgot what we were doing here. It didn't feel like
yeah.
a chore, like a hassle. It felt like just
That's the
just
point.
hanging
Also, I
out with with,
think
with the people we work.
for many people, this is hard to understand that this is not a hassle for us in terms of I'm not sweating. I am shy. I'm gonna be red a bit. I also I mumble a lot or repeat myself. But because we are in such a safe environment, we like what we do here. We can express ourselves most of the time if so freely. It doesn't feel like oh my what's going to happen if I say something. I'm correcting myself and move on. With all the episodes we shared so much information about the tech projects that really helped. We had questions from the audience, so please, I encourage you not to ask more questions here. This is literally a wrapping episode, but we shared how people can contribute. We shared details about internships, no internship, what it means to work in the open, what is not. And for sure in the new season, and it's good to mention now that in the new season we're going to go deeper in the subject, that each project had so different streams or different implementations that truly deserve a dedicated episode, and we're going to tackle that. More engineers to share their work and more engineers available for you to question. We do try also to announce the episode teams before, but we also had to change the streaming platform, so we don't have a dedicated person for it. So I'm the engineer that creates the stream. I'm learning how to plan these events ahead on and don't get me wrong, we do have a communication department, but that's again, the formal communication, the postings, they try to help us with sharing the episodes. How we create this is truly tech, is truly engineering team, and it's truly us discovering how to do it better next time. Sneak peek, we're trying to make an intro for next time, and an ending. So I think it's good to know that we do have all episodes on a playlist on YouTube if you want to go. I'll mention that again. And for questions, feel free to comment there, or literally come in our Slack or in the next episode on social media and ask us around. More than happy to share it along. Any other wrapping details that you had in mind, Alex?
Honestly, I didn't realize we were gonna do eight of these. I didn't think we were gonna do eight of these. I kind of figured out we were gonna be done in like two or three or four, and then we kept realizing there's more,
Yeah.
and the fact that we already have a season two, I didn't realize there was gonna be these many of these. I am very happy. We never run out of topics. We are very busy people, and with the growing team. By the way, we're hiring. Just so you know, if we're hiring. If you want to join us on screen, I'm afraid the only way to join us on screen is to get the job first. But if you go on our website, there's plenty of jobs available. If you have anything in mind, careers@inteledger.org, email us. But I think I am excited. I'm excited about doing season two. And you know what? I'm not committing to a number of episodes for season two.
No.
We'll see.
No.
We'll see how
Also,
many
this
how many do.
for me, I'm a bit obsessed with keeping things tidy. And oh, we had 7 episodes, or with zero, it's the 8th episode with the prologue. Maybe I want the same next series, but life teaches me that it's not fully OCD, so it's okay if we have more or less episodes. From the list that I just thought about, like, minutes before the call, we already have like 5 topics mentioned, so probably we'll have more. I think overall I wanted to do a longer series, but I was afraid that we are gonna run out of topics. Still, we started, and I realized even for web monetization, we talked so little about it. Maybe we're gonna do a standard talk, and we'll have external people joining to debate what it means to make a standard there, or for sure one for the publisher tools, because we are gonna launch them, relaunch them soon. So that's another one. And the technicality, we have Nathan, that's already called the Nathan. So why is that? Why we
Nathan.
chose that? Nathan, yes. Um, so there are many topics coming into, and I truly didn't. We didn't plan this series to be 6 episodes, and that's why we chose to. Okay, let's do a stop. We call it a season. It was not planned. I wish I was able to say that it was planned. It was not planned. And explain a bit more what's the concept again, because starting so roughly directly with discussion, we had people asking about what major, even 3 4 episodes in, because it was like, what's this thing, what you're trying to do here. And that's why we go over the full episodes. And yeah, maybe it's time to put them as a comment for everyone to see. But I mentioned earlier there is a playlist with them, but um just so
Joanna,
you see the titles. Yes, go ahead.
just so you know, I've had an idea. I've had an idea, and I'm dying to run it by you.
Live. Are you sure?
Live,
Are
live,
you sure?
live, so
Let's
we can
go.
commit to it. So, as I was saying, there's no way to come on stream unless you work for us. Maybe we should have some of the guests that we work closely with
Hmm.
in here. So we have an integration team. And that is because when you apply for a grant at the Interledger Foundation, you get a bunch of resources to help you in developing with Interledger or on Interledger. And that means every grant that we award gets not only the money that they requested from us, but they also get dedicated resources to help with the integration efforts. And some grantees use those resources more, and some grantees use those resources less. But technically, some of our grantees we've developed together
Yes.
both on the Inteledger side, because after they use Rafiki and they put it in, they usually have a bunch of feedback, and then we'll change Rafiki to match the feedback we get. or because we've been embedded into their engineering teams for a while, helping them stand up a Rafiki instance so that they connect to the
Mm.
Inteledger network. So when we talk about integrations next time, getting some of our friends on stream would be
Mm.
really good.
Yeah, we
As
can
you
do.
can
I
see,
think
Joanna's
so.
not very happy about this idea.
No, no, I'm happy. We did briefly mention it, but not as serious before. But I was like, this could be a full season, Alex, because we do have partners for a full season. Oh my, we are
I know, I
committing this.
know.
We are committing this for a longer time that we intended. But yeah, these are. Let us know in the topics I mentioned now, all of the episodes list, so you don't, so you know, all of them, don't lose it. But do let us know what you think it was missing from it. So as you can see, we went from the stack to the web monetization, which is a big project that we support. Is not only on us that. So if you want to learn more, do join. It's a working group. Open payments and integrations that Alex mentioned right now, where we have it, how we have it. And I think it was also one of the cool one with open payments. We were abroad. After conferences, it was literally after a hackathon, and we had so much feedback. And when we met with Max and Sarah, and Max and Sarah realized that, oh my God, there's still so much work to do with the feedback from the hackathon. Um, yeah, and spoiler alert, we are preparing more hackathons coming. So yeah,
If
excited.
you are in Mexico, if you are in Mexico right now, there are a lot of things to be excited about. Not only are we gonna
Ooh,
do the Interledger Summit in Mexico at the end of the year, November 4, 5, 6.
awesome.
Tickets aren't available yet. A little birdie told me when we're gonna release tickets. I don't know if I'm supposed to say it or not, but you know what? I hear tickets are available next month.
Yeah,
And
I
the
heard.
reason for that is as we ramp up towards the summit, we are actually gonna be in Mexico a lot this year. So we are going to be there in the middle of May for multiple reasons. We have a bunch of friends there, a bunch of partners that we work with, like the people at the People's Clearing House in Oaxaca. So we're gonna do a work week, a developer work week with them in the middle of May, and then we're gonna go to Mexico City to do program
Mhm.
planning for the summit. If you are in Mexico, do message us on email, X, YouTube. I'd love to chat more. As you can see, I haven't talked in a while. So I'd love to chat more. I'd love to chat more. And we are working with a few of the universities around Mexico to organize student hackathons in preparation for the Inteledger hackathon after the summit. So that we did this last year in Cape Town as well with the University of Cape Town, and that's because we truly believe in students and education. So we've invested in education. We have a bunch of universities we work with where we sponsor interledger or payment related programs. But I used to be a student. I realized competing with my student self, competing with my current self for a hackathon is not exactly a fair fight. Uh, so we're giving students the opportunity to learn hands-on with Inteledger at the student-only hackathon in advance of the summit, so that when they do come to the summit hackathon, they have a competitive edge against everyone else. I am happy to say at in Cape Town, this worked beautifully because one of the student teams from the original hackathon, the student hackathon, one of the teams that didn't win the student hackathon, they took that to heart and they came back to the summit hackathon with a vengeance, and they took third place against 100 or so professionals in there. So we're trying to replicate this model in Mexico City. If you are a student in Mexico, there's a short list of cities. I'm not allowed to say where, but we are planning hackathons around Mexico in preparation for the Inteledger hackathon just after the summit.
Yeah, and one of the things we wanted to do more at the summit, but it's such a busy day, a busy week. It was fully a week of activities. So it was hackathon, working days, summit. We did want to have a special episode back then with Stefan, I think, and even. Um, But it's good that we had an official podcast with them, and it was covered by that. But maybe now that we keep saying this, but when we meet, we can record an episode. It will be even,
Joanna,
yeah, more
Joanna,
promises in
we
vain,
have
no?
to be realistic. We
Ah,
have to
okay.
be realistic. Technically, the closest we've ever been with this podcast of being together for it was we were in the same country about 1,000 kilometers away.
Yeah.
That's the closest we've ever gotten to recording one of these. I don't know if we're gonna be in the same place recording an episode or going live on an
I
episode.
mean, don't get us
I
wrong, for the audience, we do have the same meetings and all, but they are packed, and we afterwards we cannot put this, or it's awkward to be in the same location, me and Alex, for calls, and have our colleagues from somewhere here enter, and we share the mic. We don't have microphones. I probably should invest in one professional microphone. Okay, yes, thank you. Um, Maybe then we can put like a table, like professionals, a table between us. Stop laughing, you're alive. But yeah,
I'm just realizing next month we're gonna be in Mexico City together for the week where we're supposed to record this. But even then, we're gonna be in the same vicinity, but we're not
yeah,
actually gonna be in the same space.
no, no, no,
In the
yeah,
same
true.
space.
But by the way, also it's good to mention that we are recording this live. We are not editing them. We had an issue with the former platform. One of the episodes did not go live. I did not tell them that we are not live. I think I mentioned at the beginning, I think the LinkedIn is not working or something, but I let them speak thinking that they are live. Behind, I was trying to figure out what's happening, and we did link it afterwards, but we didn't make it live. We just uploaded it to YouTube. So I think on Twitter, X, and yeah, LinkedIn, it doesn't appear even as live. It's just a recording, but they thought that it is live. So we are not making this up. We literally started the recording and we go live and see how it goes. Yeah, but I think we can make, maybe, or we'll see, because we do
We'll see.
meet. We
We'll
are,
see.
I mean, we are headed to some conferences, so if you are around them, feel free to ping us. But we also have a new DevRel person joining us to help also maybe with the Spanish content. Hopefully, they just started today, I think. So let's hope it's a productive one. Maybe we do an episode in Spanish, one in Romanian, one in Spanish. We go international. Okay, should I
I
stop?
feel like I
Should I
was
stop?
recently on a call with you when we were talking to the universities from Mexico, and I was beyond impressed with your ability to speak Spanish.
Yeah.
I think with Marian joining us, I think you could do a Spanish episode. And me, in my ignorance, I could probably understand you, and I'll be there and listen to
Yeah,
everything
see, see.
and smile and nod. But sadly, when I try to speak Spanish, half of the time it's Spanish and half of the time it's Italian, and it's just embarrassing. So we'll do a multilingual one. We'll try that.
Yeah, but yes, we are gonna answer that. But Alex, guys, you're looking at the comments. But
Yes.
the funny part is that you go to meet the university, and I was super not shy, but like, should I speak Spanish with my broken Spanish? But again, one thing that I learned with public speaking is that I did not die doing any public speaking yet. So yeah, I get shy, I get tired, I might say something wrong and have to correct myself. But most of the time, it's appreciated that you took the stage and presented something, or in that call, speaking Spanish with them. I think it was super appreciated. And guess what? I could be serious in Spanish, not only with the drama from the telenovelas. Spoiler alert, I learned Spanish from telenovelas. So the thing very
Like every
passionate from,
Romanian
yeah,
kid born in the
yeah,
80s. Yep,
yes,
like every Romanian kid born in
exactly.
the 80s.
But
I
sometimes you learn things that
Marimar forever. Marimar forever.
Angel Selbati, Angel Rebelde, what are you talking about? Everything. And Maria del Barrio. If you watched back then, watch the novela, tell us your favorite. But going to comments, like he did ask us if we are able to share if the summit hackathon will be before the summit or after the summit. When is gonna
So
be,
that's a
Alex? Tell us.
yeah, that's also an interesting story. So last year last year we tried to to make them closer together, but there were some constraints involved. putting the hackathon in the middle of the week makes a bunch of people not able to attend. So the hackathon has always has to be over the weekend if you want to be inclusive and allow people to participate. Otherwise, you kind of have to take time off of work and it gets complicated. So the hackathon is always going to be on a weekend. In Cape Town, sadly, because the marathon was happening in the same weekend and around the same time, there were no venues or availability to do the summit anywhere near the hackathon, so it had to be back-to-back weekends, and that's why we were there for so long.
Yeah.
This year we are very lucky, and we have managed to find venues and hotels and everything for everyone. So the summit is going to be November 5 and 6, and the hackathon is going to be November 8th and 9th. So technically, if you're
Yeah.
coming along for the summit, you have a day of relaxing and exploring Mexico City. And if you're in Mexico and Roberto ever invites you to go for mezcal, trust me, don't. It's a trap. It's gonna not gonna be one mezcal or two mezcal. It's gonna be dozens and dozens of little trials, but yeah, you've got a day in between. Uh, you've got a day in between the summit and the hackathon, and with all the things you're gonna see at the summit, all the things on stage that we're announcing and releasing around that time, you are gonna be able to play with them at the hackathon just in time for the summit.
I I agree, I agree. But as we are off the ledger, off the record and everything, the craziness with the hackathon being on the weekend of the marathon in Cape Town. I know it looks like fun hackathon, but waking up at 1 to go 45 minutes with a microbus or minibus or how it's called there, to get to the venue, or seeing that the road is blocked and you cannot even get a cab, a Uber, a car to go back. You would go around and it was also
Well,
fun. I went out to see the runners, and our colleague Bibi that ran the marathon. We were seven that ran the 10K and the 5K the day before, so it was the fun part was also there, but the complexity of organizing it during the marathon, that was no fun.
it also
That
it
was no
also
fun.
didn't help that because this was happening and the venue was kind of far away from the hotel
Yeah.
we were able to get. You had to cross the marathon route twice to get to the venue. It was getting a bit complicated. It was getting a bit
Yeah.
complicated. We double checked, make extra sure. We were this close of scheduling this. We were this close of scheduling this over the Formula One weekend in Mexico City, but we've managed to get it moved and find availability in the weekend that's not the Formula One weekend, or the weekend that's not Dia de los Muertos or the Day of the Dead. So, barring any act of God, it's gonna be a quiet, pleasant weekend for the hackathon.
Hopefully.
And while we technically still don't have a hotel for the period of the hackathon for staff, Joanna, I've seen the options that we have. Only a few of them will require you to be in traffic. Only a few.
No,
Most
no,
of the
but
options are within walking distance from the hotel, so I think we're gonna be fine.
just so you know, I've never been to Mexico, so I was like literally asking, double checking. Is there transportation? How far is by car? Is there anything important on that road happening that might be closing it down? And everybody was like, Joanna, we'll be fine. I was like, well, it will be fine. That's what said last time too. But don't get us wrong, we loved it there. We loved the hackathon. Everyone was okay in the end. But it was just the stress creating around us, like how we're gonna get back to the hotel, the shift. But I think it's exactly that, the sense of passion. We do have passion when we organize this, so we try to make them better. We try to make everyone feel good. We accommodated running the marathon, running the 10K, so everyone had a good time, hopefully in the end. We were happy with the results of the hackathon. We tend to hope the same, especially now that we have the mini hackathons with students before.
So, so here's the
Yeah.
here's the thing. By we I mean me. While I loved the fact that we had almost 150 people, 50 people local in Cape Town, we realized the summit was going to be close to the hackathon, so there
Hmm.
was the opportunity for more people from out of town to join us. It's also A new year, bigger, better, all of that. So this year, the hackathon capacity is more. In last year in Cape Town, because of the marathon and the venue restrictions, we couldn't fit more people in there. The building had a certain capacity where we had to, like, we had probably 200 and something people signing up, and we had to make very hard choices about the first 140 people who could make it that were there. In Mexico, we have space for more. And the possibility to expand. If Anna's listening to this, Anna, please ignore this. It's better if you don't know. It's better if you don't know. We keep having this conversation with Anna. Anna's running the summit. She's our senior director of communications. She's in charge of organizing the summit. And so we keep going back and forth with Anna on whether or not we're gonna stick to 200 people, the capacity for the venue we have, 200 people, or if we're gonna get the venue next door as well, and we can expand to 500 people. I think organizing a hackathon for 500 people seems like a lot. I feel like we have a very competent and capable team. And if I'll tell you what, we'll open the signups in the next month. If, let's say, 200 people sign up in the first month, I will personally make sure we book the other venue and we expand it to 500 people. Fingers crossed. If you're here on stream, I'm counting on you. I'm really counting on you. I want us to be able to allow as many people as we possibly can to act with open payments, test it out, give us feedback, make it better for everyone else.
Anna, disclaimer, I literally wrote him in private, be careful what you promise on this stream right now when he start talking about the venue. I tried. I tried to keep him, balanced, but it doesn't succeed. So I'm okay, fine to extend it, but disclaimer, I did mention we have that. He's like Alex, like I'm gonna cut her mic next time. This is why I don't use mic.
No, no, Joanna, I know you messaged me in private. I saw it now. I was like, where did she message me? Where did she message me? Is she lying to Anna? No, she actually did message me. Message me on Telegram to tell me to be careful what I'm saying. Look, that's why people come to Off the Ledger for things like this. We are very transparent. We're very transparent around here.
Yes, indeed.
Speaking
So yeah.
about speaking about transparency and trying to meet more people as we can, I do realize we are. I do realize this because I've had to sign a bunch of contracts lately. Tiffany, if you're listening to this, I apologize profusely for how long it takes me to sign a contract. But I do realize we've committed to sponsoring a lot of conferences recently. Joanna, where are we gonna be? And when are we
Well,
gonna
yeah,
be?
that's I think because we mentioned that we do conferences and people can ask us about Off the Ledger. Maybe we can do a sticker. Let's focus. Coming back. Next week we're gonna be in London for CTJS. We also have a talk, and we're gonna have a booth. You're gonna meet our colleagues there. None of us two there, unfortunately. But next month in May, we'll have a work week in Romania. Maybe we can do a meetup. Let us know if you want that. But at the end of the month, I'll be around JS Heroes, the conference. I think it's 28, 29 or 29, 30. And probably some of the colleagues that we have, like Timea, can join me too. Or Alex, if you are in town. He doesn't know yet. Yeah.
I
And
might actually be in town, Joanna. For like
ooh,
from now until July, I am in town for probably 5 nights, and that might be one of those nights.
ooh. But the conference is during the day, just saying, be careful with the flights. But yeah, so for CTJs, we also consider going to Athens at the end of May, but it kind of overlaps and the team is spreaded. Not confirmed yet, but it's on our mind, especially because I shared out the link with you so you can see it. And the JS Hero, let me share here the link for it. If you are in Romania, in Cluj-Napoca, more than happy. If not, try it. It's really cool. It's really cool city. And we have lots of colleagues there for sure. We can do like a coffee or lunch with everyone while we are in town. After that, I think the next one will be in Bristol, UK. It's one of the things
Oh,
that you've been, really, because are you missing
I used
it?
to, yeah, for context, I used to live in Bristol, and then I moved to be all over the world, lived out of a suitcase, and very recently I've moved back to Cluj, Romania. That's where I met Joanna all those years ago, and it feels it feels very a very warm and cozy moment.
Yeah.
Honestly, I miss I miss some parts of Bristol which I discovered during the pandemic. I did not choose Bristol. Bristol
Hmm.
kind of chose me.
Mm.
I was visiting a friend. I was visiting a friend. Uh, and I landed, and I think 2 or 3 days later, the lockdowns got announced, flights got banned, and I had about a week to find a place to live in Bristol. And so it was Bristol wasn't a choice, Bristol was a reality. And it kind of I was as anything that you do when you're forced, I wasn't happy about it. Uh, I wasn't happy about it, but it kind of grew on me trying to I feel like my impression of Bristol was a pandemic Bristol, and as things were opening up and I was discovering more and more of Bristol, I had this thing where I was like I started to love it. Now I miss some things from Bristol. I miss being able to get a decent cup of coffee. I miss hot cross buns like it's nobody's business. If you don't live in the UK, let me give you a culture shock. There's a few things that the UK does traditionally around big holidays. So it's mince pies for Christmas, hot cross buns for Easter, and if you move to Romania, Romania doesn't even know what hot cross buns are. So I think I'm gonna try baking hot cross buns for Easter now. Yeah, I miss some things from Bristol, but at the same time, Cluj is not what what I expected after 10 years. It's a vibrant, amazing city. So I don't miss Bristol that much. I love Cluj. I love Cluj. I don't know, Joanna, why you ever left Cluj, but this is a good prompt and opportunity for people to not only visit JS Hero, maybe consider staying.
Yeah, yeah, no, I didn't left Cluj because I didn't like it. I truly believe.
Oh my God.
in-
Oh my God. Did you see the LinkedIn comment we got?
Yes, yes, I did. I did. For the record, it seems that people we're gonna talk with Anna, and probably you're not gonna see a season two of this podcast or this panel. So I didn't move. Cluj is beautiful indeed, and I think it's. I mean, I was about to say the best city in Romania, but we do love Marcella in Bucharest. And before going to Bristol, it's good to say that we're gonna be at Dev Talk Bucharest at 4th June, June 4th. See, English is hard sometimes. But it's really cool. Has everything you need to, from the coffees that you mentioned to good office spaces, lots of events, both cultural or sports or athletic or anything that you will need. A new revamp airport that I did not yet to try. I flew lately on CBU, but I'll be soon there, so I'll be enjoying more of it. I like that most of the time now going back to Cluj, I have a list of new places that I want to try, and it never disappoints. It's all good all the time. But
So for
yeah,
the people who are watching this on another platform other than LinkedIn, you can't actually see the LinkedIn comments because they don't get pulled through to YouTube. There is a comment on LinkedIn that says, "Yes, I am listening. Thank you, Alex. Anna, we'll talk." Anna, I don't know how to say this in a way that will keep me alive and breathing, a happy, healthy human. I am not sorry for what I said on the stream, and we'll talk later.
ah, all hearts. This is one thing that I had shared with Sabine. We talked about her in the call. The new way of showing hearts to people, because this will tell you that I'm old. These things that I'm still a young person. Um, so yeah, Anna only love will. I tried. So we go London, Cluj, Bucharest, Bristol. I think for the summer we don't have yet anything, but that doesn't mean we're gonna be not available. Don't worry.
Actually, Actually,
Yes.
Joanna, I just realized why I have to leave Cluj and why I can't join you in Bucharest. While you are in Bucharest for Dev Talks, me and Brianna and Chris are gonna be in Amsterdam for Money 2020. So if you are in Amsterdam for Money 2020, do come by and say hi. We'll be very happy to chat. And straight from there, right after that, I am also gonna be in Singapore for Apex, the Ripple Developer Conference. with a bunch of our friends from GitHub and enter there.
Mm?
If you see me at those conference, please do come say hi. And I know Joanna tried to brush this off, and she had an idea. She said it really small, and then she tried to change the topic as soon as possible. But if you see me at those conferences, Joanna committed on stream to having a sticker for the podcasts. So I will be sure to give you a sticker for the podcast if you see me at any of those conferences.
Yeah.
Thank you, Anna, for volunteering. By the way, that's an amazing idea. I can always count on you to have really good ideas.
Yeah, and hopefully, I mean, it's time to say that you can also count on me implementing them because people will shoot. I just don't propose. I also do stuff around. Yeah, good to remember. Today, our colleague who also works with GitHub has a talk there, and I want to give him a big shout out for that because he's, I think, the first supporter for of the ledger all the time, and can't wait to see his talk, even recorded or live stream. And in the second part of the year, I think we're headed to US. Of course, if everything is still okay till then, because you don't know. I mean, hopefully we're gonna be also on the northwest side at Cascadia JS, and we continue with our tradition at this moment with Smashing Conf in New York. But again, the second part of the year is pretty open with more conferences that we want to attend. But also, again, we mentioned so many hackathons happening, so we'll see how much we can. If you have a favorite conference where you want to see Interledger, now is the moment to request. As you can, we take comments for serious. We do mention them, and we will have more stuff around for sure next coming next with DevRel present conferences, and also many of the colleagues will go to non-technical conferences. Good that you mentioned the Money 2020. I think we're gonna have a few more of those about activist rights, inclusion, diversity, fintech, open wallet stuff like adjacent or from our partners that we work with, and ping us. Don't hesitate there. We are closely to an hour, Alex. We're not gonna make it longer than this. Did you enjoy it though? Did you enjoy a full season of the Ledger?
I enjoyed it enough to be here every time to make it work, and I am definitely looking forward to season two. This was a very good idea, Joanna. Thank you for having the idea and then running and implementing it. I won't even apologize. I won't even apologize for saying yes to your ideas anymore. But
No,
yes, I am happy. Now, dare I ask, Joanna, are you happy?
I am happy. I think the only thing that it feels like is not there yet is that I thought that we can do, not a better job, but to have an intro. But they are coming. We are learning about that, and it was never meant to be formal. I love that we can still smile on this call. Can take tasks, and after I will see how much work I give myself to. Um, we talk with other departments, and I hope we will get along well for the hackathon. And I do. I think the most the best that I appreciate about this is that I am always smiling in them. I'm always happy to learn more about the history of Interledger Foundation, the history of decisions we made, why we made them, how that changed, especially because I think you spiced up all the episodes with some things, how decisions were made, or how we decided to do an implementation of one of the tech project that I didn't even know about. So I'm looking forward to hear more of that from other engineers from the team while we tackle the particularities of our tech products.
Thank you, Joanna. Let's say goodbye to these good people and let them get on with their day. Most importantly, I think Anna's been waiting for us to get off stream so we can have a conversation. Anna,
She's like,
we
cut this
appreciate
stream.
you.
Don't promise more things. We do appreciate all our colleagues. I think, yeah, this is the best ending. We need to say big thank you for those that attended, those that supported this with different work from design to planning, to the communication team sharing out tweets about it and sometimes having to postpone because we changed the date. Big thank you to everybody. It's not just me and Alex here. It looks like it's only us and having fun, but indeed our team from Inteledger Foundation, everyone contributes a bit. Big thank you to everyone and for you listening, and see you next month. We are not going away. Season 2 coming soon. Take care. Enjoy.
Thank you. Bye bye.